Okay. Well, Keisha Lawrence, my dear friend, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Spring has sprung and everything is coming alive. It feels good.
I know new beginnings are just here and just having Easter right around the corner. We had a quiet one, so that was fun.
Yeah,
Um,
not a bad deal.
yeah, yeah. So we want to talk about money, right? I mean,
Yeah.
money is what makes the world go round, and there's so many old beliefs, and being able to let go of how we look at money, how our parents have brought us up, even generations before that. I mean, I remember my grandmother living through the Depression, and you saved everything. I mean, here's a funny story. Like my mom saved tinsel on the
Yeah.
tree. I mean, like nothing ever was thrown away because you just never know when you were going to run out of money. And the whole idea of sitting down and watching them do their bills and fighting over it, and, always thinking that we didn't have enough, but yet we had so much. And it just, for me, created a very odd message around money. So I know I have done some work around money, but I can't wait to hear about some of the new ideas that have popped into your little atmosphere on money.
Yeah, the new ideas have come from Kate Northrup, and I joined her course, Relaxed Money. This is 5.0 that she's launching right now, but I joined in 3.0. So this will be my third year coming through it. And it is all about signaling safety and relaxing our nervous system around the subject of money, right? So most of us think that if we just get more money, everything's going to be better. But that's not typically the truth. Usually, most of us have a bunch of very holy buckets. So even if we add money or add water in the top of that bucket, we're just going to drain it out. And the reason is because, just like you said, this is ancestral messages and a set point that is set at a very young age.
How
So
old? How old did the pattern start up?
that is a great question that I do not know the answer to. But Kate reminds us that the nervous system set point will keep you the nervous system will keep you in your familiar hell before it will allow you to go to your unfamiliar heaven until that set point is reset. So the set point is set at a very
Again,
young
say
age.
that again. Yeah, say that again,
Okay.
because that's
Yep.
a very important message.
Yes, the nervous system will keep you in your familiar hell before it will allow you to go to your unfamiliar heaven until the set point is reset.
Wow, wow. That's a powerful, powerful message that got to get my head wrapped around that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the thermostat setting. That's a really great analogy that we can kind of start, you know, seeing it in real space. It's like the thermostat setting. We can open the door and change the temperature of the room. Like we can make more money or we can spend less or we can what have you. But once that door closes, the temperature setting is going to bring it back, right? We're going to bring back that room temperature to 71 or whatever you have it set on. So as we do this work, we reset the thermostat setting. So then when the door opens, we push that setting to whatever the temperature is that we want it to be there. And then when the door closes, we are in new space.
Okay. Okay. Yes, that really sounds like a wonderful way to energetically shift and change what you feel. So
Yes.
walk us through a little bit of, because you said that she had the 3.0 and she's at the 5.5 now.
5.0. Mhm.
5.0. Uh, what changes are you've made in a 3-year process doing her work?
Oh, wow. Well, the fact is, I mean, it's insane because my husband and I now have a money date every week, when before he was completely pretty clueless about our finances. It was a very lopsided relationship in that part of our relationship. And I feel no matter what is happening in my bank account, I feel safe. And that is where the gold is, right? I am sitting in a position right now where I simply feel grounded and projecting my energy, because as you said, this is a great way to energetically shift. And some people will tell you that money is simply energy, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So if we want to really tap into that abundance, we need to do it on an energetic level, right? So this is the way to find grounding, and we learn about the nervous system, and we recognize that the nervous system, we change from resonance versus regulation. We don't want to just be regulated. We're always like, oh, we just need to be calm and cool and regulated. Well, that's not actually the truth. What we want to do is increase our range of resonance, whereas that we are able to move in and out of sympathetic and parasympathetic with ease and choice while we are there.
Yes.
And then we can go up and down and still feel safe in those ups and downs.
Yes, yes. You know, it's funny. It reminds me of how I work with the horses. So we work on getting a connection. So you talked about a date night over money with your husband once a week, right? So that's a connection. And then you have to raise the pressure up a little bit, right? Because you're sitting there having this conversation. We don't have enough money. How are we going to pay for these bills? They're going to keep coming in. And so now you got to figure out how to get your nervous system to a safe place. And so we bring it back around to, we land in safety. What can we feel comfortable about in this moment, and what we can prepare for the next week in order to shift things around? And the more focus that you put on the problem, the bigger the problem comes, right? So energetically, you have to think, what's the first action step I can take to move into the direction? And that's exactly how I work with the horses. It's no different. So it's funny how I'm thinking how money, I don't really look at money that way. I look at it as, oh gosh, this bill I can't pay. What am I going to do? So I love the whole once a week date night. So give us some ideas of what that looks like.
Well, if I can be frank, we started with intimacy, because let's attach joy and pleasure with money.
Oh, nice.
Right? It is one way to enter in this space. Speaking of connection, right? We're fully connected. We're on the same page. We moved into money space. When we used to move into money space, he walked in the door knowing that he was wrong. Whether or not I was carrying that energy or not, that was what he always thought. It doesn't matter what this conversation is like, I'm going to be wrong, which wasn't the truth, but that's what he carried in, right? Now we carry in connection and that we're on the same page with everything. And it doesn't mean that we agree with all of our finances 100%, because that isn't the truth. Right. But we sit with each other, we hold safe space in it. And it's a space of safety rather than a space of fear. And you mentioned, like what is our next, what's the first step in order to head us towards that solution? Kate is going to tell us every time the first step is to signal safety. And that is regulating our nervous system, because if we solve a problem with a dysregulated nervous system, that solution will keep us in our old loop. So if we have a problem, we're going to see the problem, we're going to become aware of it, we're going to signal safety, which is going to switch our frequency, right? Our energetic floor is going to change us when we start to say, it's okay, nervous system. Yeah, we see a bill there that feels unsafe, it's okay, right? And so this is a great one. It's called the butterfly hug. I'm pretty sure I've showed it to you before, right?
I love
This
this
is
one.
a huge one. I love it. It's so easy.
Yeah.
My husband made this huge purchase. We thought it was going to be a little less, and then we got there and we made it, and then we're driving away, and I was just signaling safety. You know, because having a
This one, right? This
yeah,
one.
yeah,
I'm okay. I'm
the
safe. I'm
whole way
worthy.
home.
I'm worthy.
Yeah, and it's going to be okay. And that was 2 years ago, and guess what? It has been.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, or 1 year ago. So we want to stop, we're going to signal safety, and then we're going to solve, because then this new solution is going to take you towards that unfamiliar health. This new solution is going to change the thermostat just 1 degree at a time. As you know, this is how we do the work, 1 degree at a time, right? But we can take huge jumps as well in terms of, you know, I just think that there can be huge shifts, even though it's a 1 degree step, right?
Yeah, 1 degree, you know, okay, so let's talk about a boat in the ocean. 1 degree shift means that you're going to make your destination or you're not going to make your destination, right? So
Correct.
it's really important that it doesn't have to be such a big shift to actually change the direction and make it flow easier. And I always love the analogy of a log clogging up the river, right? You don't have to move the log that much for the water to find a new route. And that's the same with our nervous system. We don't need much to be able to move that log to get our nervous system to settle back down. But we have to catch it in the moment that it's just starting to dysregulate. And I love, like this one, taking your hands and going, okay. I mean, even tapping, right?
Yep.
Even tapping is something I actually learned a long time ago. And started using it on the horses and got huge responses with that. I'm like, well, God, if the horses are saying this is okay, it's got to be a good thing to do,
Yeah,
the whole 9
definitely.
yards. So, I think I think a couple key things is having the date, an intimacy date about money. I think that's a big, big step in the right direction. It's
And
not
I
something.
also want you to know you can have an intimacy financial date with yourself, right? If anybody's boo-hooing about this out there, that they don't have a partner, be your own partner, right? Like, this can be fun and intimate and energetically beautiful all on your own.
Do you set the stage? I'm kind of like curious now. Do you set the stage? Do you put like music on? Do you have some candles going?
I mean, we just go with it, right? It's always Money Mondays, we come home, he comes home, we get home, like sometimes he'll work a little bit later, some nights I'll even work later. And so this night we know what time we're coming home. We know this is our dedicated space. And then we just kind of go into whatever it is that feels right in that time, sometimes there's music, sometimes candles, what have you, it's just like, where are we
Glass of
feeling
wine.
resistance,
Not that I
right?
drink.
Or just like, where are we feeling resistance, I mean, like,
Yes.
what's
Yes.
something that you want to break through, or is there something that you want to explore, like curiosity is really, where to begin, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Curiosity is huge. And
Yeah.
play is really,
Yes.
really important. I think that
Yes.
I don't know, our generation, I kind of feel my generation, because I'm definitely older than you are, play was not that big. I mean, we did in the sandbox and as kids and stuff like that. But when it was time to be an adult, it's like to put play to the curb. You need to be serious. You need to get your hours in. You have to work for everything that you do. That's the only way to make it. And then that makes you the person that is able to climb the ladder, so to speak. And nowadays, I mean, we didn't have millionaires back in our days. They're all over the place now, and they are definitely walking around without a suit on.
Yes, they are.
Because their belief system changed compared to ours. Like, we grew up with the Depression parents, they did not. right?
Yeah,
They grew up with the
yes,
free spirit parents, like, okay, whatever.
yeah, yeah, and that's when the nervous system set point happens is, as a child. And I think it's just happening that more and more of us have access to the abundance that it's available, right?
Well, let's go back to the money being energy, right?
Mhm.
If you're constantly worried about money, you're constantly going to have a problem with money.
Absolutely. Your point of focus is going to keep you there. By design, you will not be able to manifest your desire if you're focusing on the lack.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And the reason, there's some sort of reason that your nervous system wants to stay there, right? That's a safe place. That lack is a safe place. So even if over here looks really amazing, that's very unsafe to your nervous system. So like the mindset coaches will tell you, just push through that terror barrier, right? And you can get on the other side of that terror barrier, but if you want to stay there, you're going to need to regulate your nervous system so you feel safe there, because otherwise you're going to truck yourself back.
Right, right. And I remember reading her book Worthy, which I loved, because I think sometimes we don't feel worthy enough to have money in our life. So I'm wondering if some of the things that she had wrote in that book and what she's applying now, what some of the shifts might have happened, because she's been doing this for quite a while now, right? I mean, I
Yeah, I
remember
haven't
hearing her
heard of that.
story.
I haven't heard of that book of hers, but the
Well, she
one.
talks about how her mom and her were in business together,
Uh-huh,
and
yep, yep.
she goes through all of that, and it was amazing. Like, this wasn't the direction she was headed, but
No,
this is where
no.
she landed.
Yeah, and she wrote a book called Money, a Love Story that was 20 years ago that also goes into this and talk, and she's like, I had no idea that this was all gonna come back around, right? That this is where she was gonna end up really changing the world. I mean, if we can get more people feeling safe around money and finding their way to more financial abundance, and might I add, specifically women,
Mm.
studies show that when women have more money, we do good things on the earth. It is Earth Day today that we are recording this, and if we want to heal the earth, let's get more money in the hands of women who feel really safe around it.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that. I'm an advocate for women power.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, well, and it's simply because it's for the greatest good.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. Um, so I think one of the best things that I read was she calls invoices blessings already received. And when I started to shift that thought, there's an energetic opening that happens in your heart, opposed to this clamping down, I gotta pay for this invoice. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful way to express it. Is there a couple other ones that might we share?
Yeah, that's her debts. That's the debts, is invoices for blessings received, and she calls that as her debt. I mean, I love one of the things that she always reminds us is that we are never ever behind in this game, and that we're just, we're always right on time, right? And so, and I mean, the last quote that I just said about resetting the nervous system set point, that one is huge. I'm trying to think of the little nuggets. I mean, there's so many, right? Like, and she also continues to evolve, and from 3.0 to 4.0 to 5.0. It's all great, new, fresh information, right?
Yes, yes.
And this isn't from Kate, but this is from, I don't know where, somebody told me never to use the word spend. It was this was Reverend Ike. He said, do not use the word spend. So we're going to use the word circulate, right? Because we're gonna circulate our money, because the spending feels like, oh, it's gonna be gone, right? We're gonna spend it till it's gone. But if we circulate it, we're just throwing it into the current, right? It's a currency. So we're gonna throw our money into the currency and let it come back. And I don't think she uses the word budget. I use the word circulation plan for budget, right? And she's teaching us, like, she brings in so many different experts and like profit first and how to really pay yourself through your business. I mean, but we start with the nervous system first, right?
Yes.
You have to be safe before you can make any of those decisions that are actually going to propel you in the direction that you want, right? So it's the stop, signal, safety, and solve. That one's huge.
Yeah. Well, let's jump over to health, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a health coach. I'm a health coach. How many times have we seen it's not worthy of me to spend X amount of money on ourselves, right?
Yeah, a million. Yeah.
A
We
million,
see it
right?
a lot, like it's classic.
It's so classic. And yet, we are the ones. I love the analogy, like you're in an airplane and the plane's going down and they drop the air mask, needs to go on you before you can save your child. We are the household support system for, even though I kind of think that the roles have changed to where men and women, he, she, there's that combination. But there is one person that's always kind of like the lead foundation. I'm not putting my words very well together, but is the nurturing one of the family, that is the support team that takes care of the hard jobs, basically. And if they're having to take all of this energy on all the time, they're going to have health issues that are going to start to eat at them. And if they're not taking care of themselves, then guess what? Then money does become a bigger problem. The health issues become bigger. And then they spiral down, and the negativity and like the depressions, all of those things, the weight gain, the weight loss, goes either way in that direction. So how is it that people can start to change their idea about spending money on themselves? Because you said profit first, which made me think we are the profit. We need to pay ourselves in having better health. So,
Yes, well, that's a whole process that I am not the expert of, but that
all right.
she helps us learn how to do that, right? And so it's like, I love the Joseph Campbell quote: if we try to love or lead or work or pray from a dry well, then we will serve a bitter cup to those around us and never really live the life that we were given.
Yeah.
And we can't do it, right? Like, you can't do it at any point. You can do it for a little while, but then you're gonna run out, right? You're gonna burn out. And I'm also a massage therapist, and our nervous systems are allowed to sync up, right? So we can co-regulate with each other. And now the space that I hold in the therapeutic presence in massage therapy, I stand so strong in knowing that I have enough that they can use my nervous system as a jumper cable, and I'm not going to run out. Right? So
And you're not going to run out because
I've been filling my cup, because I've been regulating my nervous system for the last 2 years, because I think about what I think about.
Yes.
I think about what I put in my mouth. I think about the people that I hang out with. I think about all of the toxicity around us, right? I think about detoxing. I think about all these things, but I can't remember what you were just talking about, but what came to me was that we oftentimes are wanting to do this in our minds, but that's a top-down approach, and this approach is a bottom-up approach, right? We're going to drop into our bodies first, because what they used to think was that your thoughts create the feelings, and then the feelings create the action, blah, blah, blah. But what new research is telling us is that, in fact, the feelings create the thoughts.
Yes.
So mindset work is a little downstream. right? The nervous system work is really dealing with all of these emotions that we've been taught to numb our whole lives, and we're not facing them, right? And so we have all these emotional stress loops open. Emily and I can't remember her sister's name, Amelia Nagoski, wrote a book called Burnout that talks about how we're not burned out because we're doing too many things. We're burned out because we haven't closed any of these emotional stress loops our whole life, and we just have 1,000 emotional tabs open in our hearts and in our bodies, and we're overloaded. We
I
can't
love that. That
know
is,
how to do it.
I mean, I think that that's how people are going through life. And, you know, a lot of times when I'm working with the horses and they have a lot of open loops that need to get closed, you've got to find the one loop that is actually going to close a whole bunch of loops together, right?
That's right.
I mean, and I look at it like a computer, I can have a whole bunch of things up on my screen, right? Tabs and stuff, but I can click with that one X and it clears it all. So
Yep.
this, I think, is powerful for people to start to understand all of those loops. Find which one is the feeling in you that's the strongest that you need to address at that moment. And a lot of those will just dissolve away.
That is correct. As we do this work on our current emotional stress loops, we are able to close those old ones. Otherwise, it would feel hopeless, maybe, because how would we be able to close all those old loops?
Yeah. So if somebody is wanting financial help or understanding how to have a better relationship with money, I think she's got a free workshop going on right now. Is that correct?
She does have a free workshop going on today. Earth Day was day 2. And then day 3 is Thursday. It is at 11 a.m. Central. So that's 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Eastern Standard Time. And like I said before, you're not late. You're not late. That's what I love about working with Kate, because you are never late. We are always on time, and the recordings will be up until I think, May 1st. So you'll have time to revisit that. There's a big old workbook that is there to support you through the process. And then obviously the free workshop leads into an offer, and her program is called Relaxed Money, and it's a year-long. And that part opens April 28th to May 1st. And then this comes around only one time a year. She runs this program one time a year so she can support us through that year, which I think is also really brilliant, because through her teachings, earlier teachings and cyclical life teachings, nature only has production one time a year. How brilliant, right? We never, and it's just like, oh, okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. So she's really nailed that. Once a year, she offers this program, and usually in the spring, which I think it will be next spring, we have a live event that just brings really amazing humans together, and we get to dance and celebrate money. Yeah. And raise our energetic vibration. Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Well, hopefully some of this information will help people. I think that the key point is we're never too late to start thinking about our relationship with money. We're never too late to start to change the energy, how we think around money. And there's plenty of resources out there that if you do want to change, this is a great one. There's plenty of books out there that are on it. But the most important part, I think, is curiosity. Get curious on how to shift your mind from the bottom to the top, opposed to the top from the bottom. And stop struggling, because you don't need to. You can just move past it. Some of us love staying in the victim. I know that I have played victim roles plenty in my life, and I feel so much freer that I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim to money. I'm not a victim to relationships, right?
Yep.
So anything that you want to add to this conversation that might help some of the folks out there listening?
I personally do this work simply so I can stop the ancestral chains from continuing on, right? Because it's been a heavy load, I feel like, and I just don't want my son to have to carry such a heavy load. He's gonna have plenty, right? But if I can help generations moving forward. And we also get to help our ancestors too, right? Because they didn't have the resources, or they were not given any chance to do this work. They just weren't. And
Yeah.
so we can step into this now and really show up for our ancestors and show up for the generations to come in a way that I believe truly is going to shift the world.
Well, I love that, and I am on board with that concept. I think love, relationships, and are really the intertwine of everything. It just is. You got to have love in order to understand how to have better relationships with everything. You know, I was thinking of my values, and I think relationships at the top now. I used to think it was love, but I really think relationship, because love, you have to have love, but you can have love and not have a good relationship. But you have to have a relationship in order to really feel love. And that to me really feels good. And the horses have taught me that. They've really taught me I can love them all day long. I can feed them. I can take care of them. I can nurture them. I can continue making them a victim in all reality. I can make them do all the things that I want. But when you build a relationship, that brings the love to a whole different level. And that is something that I love teaching, and I love bringing to the world that I've come from. I'm third generation in training horses, and I was from the place of, throw a saddle on, buck them out, you make them what you do, you did so dominancy over it all the time. You dominated your riders. I mean, it was just this dominant piece all the way around. And building a relationship, I always knew, is what made my horses do better. It wasn't because I was a fantastic rider. It wasn't because I had fantastic horses. It was the relationship that created those horses and myself to trust, have safety. Safety, again, is huge in believing that you can do it, even though there are times when you go, well, I know I can do it because I can trust that, because I'm safe enough to travel the ground with this particular horse, jumping over jumps. I mean, I remember sitting at many Grand Prix rings, throwing up at the back gate and going, you got this. I'm going with you because I'm only 50% here. And they're like, gotcha. And then I'd walk, sometimes when I felt really confident, I'd walk in there and I've got this. And they're like, yeah, but you forgot me. You got to take me with you. Right. So relationship has become one of my top values. What is your top value, you think?
Well, I just want to piggyback right there on the thinking about not only your relationship with everyone and everything around you, but your relationship with money. Right? Like, this is a relationship as well. And that's why our relationship, like even just visiting with our money once a week, I've never done that before. I've
Yes.
never done that before, right? Actually thinking about it. Now, guess what? When tax time comes around, it's a piece of cake. We're done. And really, if you visit your numbers every week, it does not take much time at all. Like that initial setup, yes, okay, but when you're in the flow of it, it's like, that's why you can spend more time being intimate, right? Because you've done the work, it's all gonna it's just so much less stressful.
Yeah.
My values, oh my gosh, I have my little value cards up here. I have to think love is still on the top for me. Yeah, because I just feel, but I hear you, what you're saying in terms of love and care. And then the relationship not necessarily being as
Talk
strong
about
as it can, but
intimacy for a moment. Okay, you can have love, but the deeper the relationship is when you're with your partner, that love to me, it just opens up even more. So love, I think, is the universe language personally.
yeah,
But I think relationship is overshadowed a little bit because it's about that connection. It's about that safety. I feel like, and again, I'm not going to go political, but I feel like if there was better relationships, then we would have more things coming together. But everybody fights against each other because they're always thinking, I'm right, you're wrong. So
Yeah.
when you start to have that relationship, it's not about who's right and who's wrong. How are we working together in this moment? And that's
Yeah.
the same with money, right?
Yeah.
How are we working together with the money that you have? How can you make it feel better, even though you might not have enough? I mean, I grew up with tons of money. I mean, I've been fortunate on both sides, when we were really poor and when we were really rich. And I'm telling you personally that neither one of them works if you don't really have a relationship with money.
Yep. And you don't feel safe in that
And,
relationship.
and you don't feel safe in that relationship.
One
You know,
hundred percent.
so money isn't the answer. And I know
No,
everybody has heard that out there, but I'm telling you, money isn't the answer, but the relationship that you have with money allows it to work for you, opposed to you working it to the ground.
yes,
And then
yes,
you become healthier. And then
yes.
you're not taxing your nervous system on a regular basis. You actually can sit back and have those moments during the day where, wow, I don't have to do so much. I can take a nap if I choose to.
I
You know,
can rest and
our
not feel guilty.
yeah, our clock tells us to take a nap. I think it's around 3 o'clock in the
Hmm.
afternoon, and all of us override it with coffee or green tea or chocolate. Not to saying that those things aren't great, but they don't really help our whole body system. So
Yeah, it's important to learn how to regulate and rest for sure.
yes, yes. And so I love my father. He taught me well how to take a nap in the afternoon. Not that I'm the best at it. I literally have to put an alarm and go and put my head back and take a 5-minute break, right?
Nice.
Just so I practice, because my nervous system likes to stay on overload. So
Yes, and that is a form of dysregulation, right? It's that flight, like go, 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 go. We gotta, we got stuff to do here, like don't just sit there, do something, right? And so, yeah, we turn that off. And part of the nervous system regulation, one of the tools is just a pause. So you're doing
yes,
it. Yeah,
yes.
pause. Yep.
Yes, well, I teach pause and training as well. I stop the horses, let them find a moment of safety, find that, because they already know what they feel like, but we need to know how they feel. And
Hmm.
then when they're relaxed, we're able to move on and learn something. Again, we can't learn when our brain is going crazy.
Right.
So
It is true. It is true.
well, I love, love, love chatting with you. We're going to have to continue this because you and I have so many similarities, but we get to come from it from a different perspective. You are a health coach and you're doing massage therapy, which you're touching lives all the time. I'm working with horses and relationships with people with horses. I'm touching lives. And I look at it, one life change is going to help vibrate a better change in the world. So let's just keep working on our stuff.
Agreed. Agreed.
And
100%.
I'll put in the link, the
Well, we probably made sure to put both links in. Well, actually, I don't think I have the link for the cart, so it'll just be the link for the free workshop. Yep, that's
okay.
how you get through there. We'll put that
Yeah,
in.
I'll put that in with the recording, and I'll also put a link to where they can find you as a health
Beautiful.
coach as well, because you help those athletes out there.
Yes, it's so fun. Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Too. Bye-bye.